Hey, what's up? Mihal here. So, just off a call with a perfect fit prospect for my Impact Inner Circle coaching program. They have an established online membership. Their business is doing okay. They're art subject matter experts. Their members love their content. They get great results, and they've had some success with their launches, but they're struggling to attract their perfect fit clients at the level that they want. And remember, with anything in life, too much of a good thing is just as bad as too little. So everybody's level is going to be slightly different. But on our call, it was evident that really the only thing missing from their membership was more perfect clients. So I was bringing them through my facilitated focus strategy process. It's something I go through with anybody who kind of is coming on board or thinking of working with me. And we had done a huge amount of work. And, but suddenly they stopped and asked a brilliant question. Mihal, you keep talking about perfect fit clients, but how would you define a perfect fit client? And you know what? For all my talking about perfect fit clients, and I realized that I don't have a video explaining exactly what I mean by a perfect fit client. Now, there are 100 different ways that this could be answered. And no matter what I say over the next, I want to keep this video short, so there could be a million different things. But what I want to do in this video is really distill down to the bare essentials, the really key distinctions that differentiate perfect fit clients from, just normal clients that are okay, but they're, kind of not really best serving your purpose. And first of all, I want to answer a question that also might be rattling around in your head. So why do I use the term clients? Well, there's a couple of words we could use for it, and one of the reasons I use clients is because I deal with people who have both information products, who have memberships, and also who have virtual events. So if you were looking at the two words that I could potentially use here, one is customer and the other is clients. Now for me, and if you look at the dictionary definition of customer, it refers to somebody who enters into a one-off transaction with a business. Now this is definitely not the mindset that I want my clients to have. This could be somebody, it's fine if you're in e-commerce, and I know even e-commerce will look, well, can we add more to the individual sale? And there is more of an awareness now over the last couple of years instead of trying to go out and get new clients, to engaging customers over longer periods of time. But one of the core concepts of my entire framework is that you create a value ascension roadmap for your clients that starts all the way from your free front end content. So that's when they're still your perfect fit prospects. So what you want to do with your front end content is amass and attract a pool of perfect fit prospects, and then bring them all the way through from your lead magnets into your front end program membership, into your signature program or memberships, and all the way to your high end masterminds. You always need to know the next step that you want them to take. And you want to optimize each interaction, not just that they respond with the immediate call of action that you take, but you're also priming them for the subsequent steps that you want them to take later. Because, this is, I think, key. Because what people tend to do, and one of the biggest problems that people have is, they might be attracting loads of leads or loads of prospects, but when they put an offer in front of them, they're not responding. Or they might take the first one, so they might take a smaller self-liquidating offer, and they might snap at that. But then when it comes to their signature program or their signature membership, crickets. So really, if you're dealing with your customers and all your focus is just on getting them to take one-off action and moving, onto the next prospect, when it comes to attracting your perfect fit client, it is essential that we have this long-term view where we want our client to end up, the transformation that we want for them, and the steps that they need to take to get the ultimate transformation that we have to offer. Because remember, your value ascension roadmap will give them variations of that ultimate transformation along that pathway. But at some stage, you're going to have what I say, the ultimate transformation that you want for the majority of your perfect fit clients. And I really think it's this strategic long game mindset that will ultimately reap the biggest rewards when it comes to your online business growth. So then the question becomes about what is a perfect fit client? Well, there's a couple of things here, and like I said at the start of this video, we could literally list off hundreds, but when I look at, what are the key indicators, I think it comes down to, kind of three key elements. So first of all, you get excited at the prospect of talking to them. Now, you might have a membership. You might not necessarily talk to individuals. And when I say talking to them, when you think, because, I think a conversation with this person or with your perfect fit client needs to leave you feeling energized, feeling on top of the world, and that you get a sense that you're really making a difference in their life, whether that's a one-on-one conversation or whether you're talking to them in a group scenario. Far too often I hear people filled with dread, and not even dread, but just reluctance when it either comes to getting on to, coaching calls or creating content or engaging with their members. And for me, this is one of the biggest indicators that you have not yet attracted your perfect fit clients. Because if you have your perfect fit clients, you should be just buzzing every time you get to talk to them. And in any interaction, if you can align your big why with the transformation you can achieve for somebody, and you're genuinely excited about the thoughts of interacting with them, this is when your business will take off. Because a lot of times, if there is that reluctance in you, if you're not excited about the prospect of helping your clients achieve the ultimate transformation, that's when it can feel a little bit of drudgery. And that's when things can be hard. And if you're feeling that, guess what? You're also giving that message out, even if not fully verbally. So the second thing here is that your perfect fit clients, they will get the highest transformation that you know is possible for them at their current point on the Value Ascension Roadmap. So you might have lots of different levels of transformation that you can get for somebody, or it could be the timelines that you help people get that transformation on. But in order for this to happen, there are a few things that need to be in place. So the first thing is you have to have a Value Ascension Roadmap with clear indicators of the transformation or the timeline to the transformation that people will achieve at each level. The second thing that you need to have is you need to have, they need to be able to see the value in the transformation that you're offering on the level and be compelled to do what it is that you're asking them to do. And the third thing is you have to enroll them in the future vision that you share for their lives. And this is where you have to get them to see what is possible and enroll them on a regular basis in what you believe is possible for them in their lives. Because even though somebody may have signed up for your program or membership, and they ultimately want the outcome that you've offered, you can't stop there because people get sidetracked, people get lost. You have to continue to enroll themselves, you have to continue to enroll both in themselves and also in, kind of their future and your process. But it's only a perfect fit client that will be able to achieve this transformation. Like, only 2% of people ever finish an online program. This is a stat that almost makes me sick. And yes, program design has something to do with that. And yes, you can look at things like gamification, you can look at, your content, you can look at all this. But even with the best program in the world, if you try to put a non-perfect fit client through it, they're not going to get the transformation that you know that they can achieve. The third thing is, and this is slightly controversial possibly, but it's not the exact, I'll tell you what, it's not what I'm about to say. It's the reasons why somebody will do this is more important for me. And that is, they pay you what you ask without question. And this is again dependent on the level, because in your Value Ascension Roadmap, you're going to have lots of different stops for people to get off on. You're going to have free content. You're going to have free lead magnets. You're going to have front end, maybe self-liquidating offers or front end, mini courses and programs. You're going to have your signature program, your signature course. You're going to have, high-end masterminds. And at each level, there's going to be different levels of price that people are going to pay. But I think that let's put some qualifiers in place actually before we do this, before we unpack this a little bit more. I do think it's important that there are some qualifiers here. So first of all, your program or membership can actually achieve the transformation that you offer. Now, if it doesn't, you need to either change the offer or change the program, one or the other. I have no tolerance for this. In previous videos, I've discussed the differences between a category expert and the category expert. And I don't believe you have to be an industry-leading expert. I don't think you have to be the go-to person in an industry in order to achieve the transformation. But what I do think is you need to have broken down the topics into manageable, bite-sized, actionable chunks, which give your perfect fit client the steps they need to get from where they are to the next point on your Value Ascension Roadmap. Or, that's ultimately where you want them to go to. So that's the first thing. Your program or membership has to be able to achieve the transformation that you offer. The second thing is there's correlation between your transformation and the offer price that you ask. Now, this is very subjective, but there needs to be some link between the offer price and the possible transformation. Now, for people who listen to me and from my audience, most times this is not an issue because the prevailing error that I see people making is the underpricing their offer. Now, maybe that's just my audience, but certainly, Dunning and Kruger may have something to share about this, which, I might talk about in another video. 3. And this is a real key important one. You have effectively verbalized the transformation that you offer. And this is really important because how can you expect people to pay what you ask with no quibbles if you've not done an exceptional job of verbalizing what you offer? It's real, it's believable, it's concrete, it's unique, and it's really compelling for people. At the end of the day, whether you're a membership site owner, whether you're an online coach, whether you are a program, you've got a signature program, you're a course creator, or you have a virtual event. At the end of the day, you're a direct response marketer. That is who you are. And your copy has to properly verbalize the transformation you can offer in a very compelling way. The fourth thing I think that's important is that your audience wants the transformation at hand. And boys, this is a big one. So often I see people creating products and memberships without first checking if their perfect fit prospects want the solution that they're providing. You see, as direct response marketers, there's no way that we can stimulate demand for a solution that we want to offer. What we must do is find a problem that already exists in our perfect fit prospects and then show them that we have a unique step-by-step process that they can follow to get the outcome that they want. Now, if you have nailed these 4 elements and somebody is still haggling over price, I hate to say it, but they're not a perfect fit client. Yet. I'm not saying they never will be, but they're not a perfect fit client yet. And you see, if you've gone through, if you've laid out those 4 steps and you've really nailed them all, problem is belief. And there's a couple of things that they may not believe in. The first one, they may not believe in you. That might sound harsh, but hey, it's your job. You are, in a lot of ways, I always say that sales is the transference of emotion and trust. And somebody doesn't trust you yet, well, they're not going to sign up. If they don't trust you, the last thing that you want to do is have them in your program. That's fine. The second thing that they might not believe in is that your program, your membership, cannot deliver the transformation you promise. So that's a perfectly valid objection to moving to the next stop on your Value Ascension Roadmap. Or the other thing that they might not do is they might not believe in themselves. They might not believe that they are able to achieve the transformation that you offer. Now, this is in its own right a massive, massive topic for discussion that I definitely will look at in the future. But one way or another, if there is this lack of belief on any of these levels, well, they're not ready to move to the next level. And that's fine. You know, your job is to take the people who are your perfect fit clients and to keep moving them up to the next level. If they need more time at the level that they're at, and remember, some of these people might just be prospects. They might not yet have, become a client of yours. So you need to just keep warming them. You need to keep, keep building that trust and keep building that belief. And the fact is, they may never be ready to move to the next level. And if that's true, well, yeah, the worst thing that could happen is that they end up at the next waypoint of your Value Ascension Roadmap, dragging down the energy and enthusiasm of your perfect fit clients. The ones who are, they're fired up, they're ready to go, they're eager to change their lives, and in doing so, the lives of those around them. So, the 3 indicators that you are not working with your perfect fit clients, or 3 things to watch for in attracting your perfect fit client. First off, you get excited at the prospect of talking to them. Secondly, they get the highest transformation that you know is possible for them at their current point on your Value Ascension Roadmap. And they pay you what you ask without question. So they are the 3 big indicators that either for identifying who your perfect fit client, defining who they are, or knowing are you working with your perfect fit clients today. So look at wherever you're looking at this today, please like and share this video. Make sure to subscribe and like my profile for lots more content like this. Oh, and even more importantly, do scroll down and leave a comment. I promise I reply to each and every comment personally. And let me know, what do you think? How do you define perfect fit clients in your business? What are the things that you would do if you were working with people, you would describe them as your perfect fit client? So great to chat to you again. You got this. Let's go.